Hey everyone, Nick Shaheen here looking at SOS. I've never looked at this chart before, so there you go, fresh perspective. And I did some homework. It was a little tough to do homework. I did a search on Yahoo and I had to scroll pages and pages of lawsuit headlines to get into something about the company itself, from the company, something back in 223, which is about here. They announced some sort of a crypto mining rig, the first 5,000 pieces shipped or something like that. So I'm trying to read up about the company. Uh, couldn't get a clear picture as to what they want to do. The CEO mentioned that and how the ROI on that is whatever. So I got the impression that they are basically making shovels for those who want to mine for gold, basically. Not sure. So I looked at the profit and loss statement to get an idea whether they do have a business or not. They do, but revenues, total revenues, which is the top line, is going backwards. And if I can't get any more detail than this, so I reserve the right to be ignorant about the business itself, but it doesn't really matter because my comments today are purely based on the chart itself. And you're saying, why should you listen to me? Because I don't know much about the business itself. Because the chart's a chart, the chart's a chart. I knew nothing about Hyliion's business, and I pegged every move. And I was long at one point, and then as soon as I saw the debacle, as soon as I saw a trigger in the chart, I said, debacle coming, I'm out, you be out, don't average down. So unfortunately, it all played out, and that's not once. If you believe that most action right now is from machine trading, then you must believe in charts because machines use nothing but data from the charts to trade, given the parameters they are programmed to act on. Believe it or not, the charts do matter, and I'm gonna prove it to you right here, right now. All right, so nothing here is actually an action to trade. I was in a chat room on Benzinga Pro tool, and I saw SOS, 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 people talking about it. I was like, what the heck is an SOS? So I looked at it and I was like, hey, maybe it's a chart I can talk about. So this is my first video about it. Could be my last. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hate. These emotional charts, emotional companies tend to bring a lot of good stuff and bad stuff. All right, so somebody said they were holding a bag since 7, and it sounded like they had hope that it would come back, and nothing but hope. So I offered them the idea that you can use options to unbail yourself without doubling down. You could double down with no money out of pocket. Do homework on it. The idea is if I own 100 shares, I can buy a call at the money, sell 2 calls in between that and my break even on the actual shares, and then me owning the 100 shares would be basically the other call. So if you're familiar with call butterflies, I end up making one up with 1 call, 2 sold calls, and my shares. So do homework, find out how that thing works, but it's an idea to get out of trouble by doubling down with only needing half the rally back. So if it's a liquid options platform that this one has, then it's doable. Otherwise, it's not. And I kind of peeked, and it looks doable. So do your own homework on that. Options do work. Miracles sometimes if somebody knows what they're doing. Okay, on to the chart. I can tell you right away, I put four arrows on it about 15 minutes ago, 3 or 4 arrows, and there they are. They're pointing to one point in time. So you think it's a coincidence of these things happening? Let me zoom back. Okay, and that right there. So it's not a coincidence. Machines look for history. The first question they ask is, what happened last time we were here? And then other parameters come in. Who's in control of this price action? Then they know whether to sell the pop or they want to continue the trend until the trend breaks. So they rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. They don't care who's making money. They're trading the trend, and they're milking whoever's trying to go against the trend. So that's why on days where you see the market or a stock falling precipitously, everybody tries to buy the pop. Every green tick, every uptick looks like it. This is it. That's it. We're bottomed. And then they get in, and then they get caught because then it's sold again and it sets lower highs, lower lows. This is a daily chart, so nothing fancy so far. It's just every candle is 1 day. But right away, these levels popped out to me. Like, this is important point in time, failure, and then they thought about it, fought about it, and then boom, the base for this massive rally. And then come back, test the footing. Really good, okay, there we go. And then test it again. So they better hold it, because if they don't, this thing is riding down. How far down? I'm not going to say a number because this is where the hate comes out. I'm just going to tell you that I would consider the next line of defense, which is this candle right here. So somewhere around the 3.2, 3.1. So, and look left. Just look all the way left. Right here. That's the cluster they struggled with on the way up. It took them a whole, 2 years? What was that? No, months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months to come back and break through it. Not before they collapsed. So some stuff happened here. They probably issued some stock, diluted some things, or some warrants or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You can tell yourself why, or you can just trade the action in front of you. And, it doesn't matter why something happens. It just matters that I know it's there and I'm ready for it. So what am I saying here? If they lose this bottom, which is very sharp, I have my cursor on it, they're going for a ride lower. How deep lower depends on how strong conviction these bulls are. So I'm rooting for them. I have nothing against the stock. I have nobody long or short it. I've just met 2 people in the chat room that are long it. And this would be, if my brother is holding the shares, I would tell him, be careful. I would not be long below that level because I don't want to know how far down they want to go. If I like the company, I'd get out and get long lower and let the quote idiots sell it if they want to, and I'll buy it lower. That would be my thinking if I'm a bull. I'm agnostic, so I'm just telling you what levels will matter. So I would put an alert here to get out, stop myself out. So here's the thing. I look for potential obvious mistakes. That's the first thing. Somebody buying it up here must have thought at one point, is this a potential obvious mistake? The answer is an easy yes. In hindsight, it's easy to tell, but in the heat of the moment, it's not. It looks like it's going back to, what the heck? Wow, what is going on here? At some point, it was at 130. Holy mackerel. Okay, so looking from a technical perspective, you never buy a stock going into a prior fail. So it sliced through one resistance level, got to another resistance level. And if you look left, you can see that this was when was this? 2018 August. They fell off a cliff, they bounced hard, then they tried to hold it and then collapsed. They tried to retake it and they haven't been able to since March of 2019. So here we are, February of 2021, basically, failing at the same level. Not a coincidence and not a surprise. So just look for potential pitfalls. In hindsight, it's easy to see it, but this is, you learn something and you proceed future trades without making the same mistakes. Bottom line is, the message is, if it loses the floor, it's going for a ride. So what about the upside? All right, on the upside, it's going to face resistance. Right now, I think post-market, it is already off this level, so that's great news. It's going to face resistance into 6.4. Why 6.4? Because this is the volume profile point of control. Fancy term for saying that this is a place where buyers and sellers in the last year loved it the most. So it makes sense that if the price is rallying into it, that it hits the brakes a little bit. Is it a hard line in the sand? No, it's a zone here. So the way I see it, all right, so these are volume bars that tell you when the action happened. They're not very, they don't provide much information, actionable information. The same information, the same volume data is up here that tells me at what level they happened. So that is more actionable information. That data set tells me that this is where they're most active. So if the stock is rallying into a most active area, it's going to hit mud. It's stuck. And it's like a cushion. It's going to get most likely face resistance. If you want a hard line in the sand, 7.5. So if I'm long, I'm out at 7.5. If I'm long, I trim into the point of control. I'm completely out at this level right there. This is from a technical perspective. If I'm long and I don't get out here, that means I'm hoping this happens again, and I'm gambling. I'm not investing or trading based on the system. I'm just going by flow. That doesn't work for me. If you want to be in the game long enough, you have to have a set of rules that you obey. Otherwise, you get lucky, and then you get wiped out. All right, so job number one looks like they're doing it after hours. They're bouncing off the floor. They cannot test it again and lose it, because then my point will just be even more important to hold this floor. So if I'm a trader, not an investor, and it falls again into this area, the actionable thing to do is to buy it for a bounce with an extremely tight stop. So I buy it, and if it goes below the support that I assumed it would hold, I'm out, regardless of what I feel about it. So I buy it, I get long with a tight stop. I buy it, I buy calls, however long I get. I sell puts, I sell put spreads. All these are bullish positions. Stop myself out quick. And I book profits into the point of control. That's the trading versus the investing part. All right, so nothing here again was a trade alert or actionable where do this or do that. I'm sharing my levels and how I would trade something this active. Seems like a fun stock, so good luck to you. And I can't wait to read the comments. Hopefully they'll be civil. There's no need to be nasty. My intentions are totally, trust me, I run a chat room with 280 traders in there, and we do good things all day. So nobody has bad intentions towards other traders, but somehow, sometimes the comments go pretty personal for some reason. But let's keep it civil here. Nick signing out.